that you might have. It's, as always, but maybe particularly, it's a fabulous day to be a Hoosier this morning, and awfully glad to be up here in Chicago. Wanted to touch base on a few things and answer any questions you might have. Just want to emphasize that the importance of football to Indiana University. When you're up here at these conference meetings, you really get it. Sometimes when you're in Indiana, you can get focused on basketball, but the kickoff luncheon or the tip-off luncheon for basketball pales in comparison to this. Football is a big deal in this conference. It's a big deal in Indiana. We have a renewed commitment to our football program because football is important for at least three reasons. Number one, it's important for football's sake itself. For better or worse, fair or not fair, the reputation of the university can be impacted by the performance of the football program, particularly when you're in a football conference. And so it's important for us to be excellent in everything we do at the university. That includes football, so it's important for football. It's also important for the department because the revenues that are generated by football are available for not only additional investments in football, but for the balance of our sports programs. And we have some inventory to utilize in football, and so getting Memorial Stadium full, having 52,929 week in and week out is really important to our entire athletic program, especially when we are an underfunded department, primarily because we have a smaller stadium that we don't fill. So football is important for football, football is important for the department, and I think it's important for the university too, because if your kids don't go to football games while they're students there, I think they're unlikely to come back to football games when they're young alums and growing alums. And if they don't come back as alums to football games, I think they're less likely to join the Alumni Association, make a gateway gift to the varsity club or the foundation, be involved as a member of an advisory group at their colleges and so forth. So I think the stakes are really big for football. Football's a big deal, and I think we've recognized that with really unprecedented commitments to the football program. I was going to highlight some of the, remind folks a little bit, since it's been a while since we talked about Coach Wilson's hiring, on why we were so excited to hire Coach Wilson. We're reading some of your pieces this morning. It seems to me that might be a little redundant, but I'll circle back around on a few things because we set out, as you may or may not recall, with the press release announcing Coach Wilson what we were looking for in a head coach at Indiana University, and I think it's worthwhile to remind ourselves of that, or at least I'm going to take the opportunity to do that. Number one, this isn't necessarily the exact order, but one of the things we wanted was a proven winner, and Kevin had 10 consecutive bowl games at Oklahoma, 7 BCS, 3 national championship games, 7 Big 12 title games in which they were 6-1, a 99-24 record, 805 winning percentage, and 7 10-win seasons. So I think he's clearly demonstrated that he's a winner. He's a teacher. If you look at the positions that he's coached, and again, you guys have reported that in a lot of your pieces, with 22 offensive players that have been under his tutelage, have been drafted in the NFL, 7 first-round selections, 3 in the top 2, 2 in the top 5. He's a position coach for 3 All-Americans, an Outland Trophy winner, Mackey Award finalist, position coach for 6 NFL draftees, 6 NFL free agents. His important role in developing Sam Bradford is well chronicled. Adrian Peterson maybe less well chronicled, but equally impactful. So he's a great teacher in the university setting. That's extremely important. I wanted someone who's committed to a style of play. Candidly, I didn't care that much what the style of play was. I just wanted someone who was a creator and an innovator and committed to a particular style of play. Thankfully, I think for our fans, he's committed to an extremely exciting style of play. Oklahoma ran 20% more plays last year than the second busiest offense. I mean, he gets after. There's going to be a lot of offense, a lot of plays. As you know, in 2008, the offense shattered NCAA records by scoring 60 points, 5 straight games, and averaging 51 points over those games. And I get that's at Oklahoma, but sometimes people forget that at Northwestern in 2000, he led an offense that had a quarterback that led the conference in total offense, and that was at Northwestern. And he's a pretty good recruiter, too. He has been very well received in in the state of Indiana. The state of Indiana has become much more target-rich environment for elite football players. You can thank the Colts, thank Peyton Manning, or whatever, but it's increasingly important for us to be strong recruiting football players in the state of Indiana, because high school football in the state is very strong. Have a Mr. Football coming in. That's last year's Mr. Football. Trey Roberson, didn't want there to be any confusion about who we're talking about there. But more and more elite players are looking at Indiana, committing to Indiana, and that's critically important. I think Kevin's done a great job of becoming ingrained in that. Otherwise, the overall philosophy hasn't changed in terms of focusing on Indiana, having a Midwest footprint, then using some of the contacts we have, especially among our assistant coaches, to reach into Louisiana, reach into Florida, reach into Texas, and pick up some national guys. And then I think confidence is really important. I listed that on the profile when we were looking for a person for this role. We lost a lot of close games over the last few years. I think it's likely that confidence may have played a part in that. And Kevin's a confident guy. Win today is his phrase, and he hammers that home with those kids day in and day out. So just a kind of a quick look back on really why we looked at Coach Wilson, why we hired him, found him, recruited him, got him here, and why we're so excited that he's here. He's brought on a great staff. Among them, they have 55 bowl games, 17 BCS games, 7 national title games, 2 national championships, an average of 13 and a half years of experience per guy. National guys that reach into different places, been there, done that guys, IU guys with Hagan and Mallory that know what IU can and should be. We hired the strength conditioning coaches, 3 new guys. We have 5 on staff. We hired Amy Friel, one of the few athletic departments in the country that have a full-time sports nutritionist on staff, and Kevin's a big believer in that. And we're in it for the long haul. President McRobbie is committed to the football program. He's committed to the athletic department more generally. Just yesterday he was meeting with a family of prospective student athlete. Makes time available on his schedule to do that. He has a long-term contract with the trustee. He hired me. I planned for this to be the last job I have. I hired Kevin. And gave him a 7-year contract, which is unprecedented commitment for IU. So the message here is we're in it for the long haul. We understand that it's not check the list. We've done that every year. We're going to be looking for ways to add to the football program because that's what I think it takes. Talk a little bit about the title game in Indy. I think that's actually been a really underreported event, and maybe that's understandable with the Super Bowl coming and all that stuff. This is big time stuff in my view, not only for Indianapolis but for the conference. I was an unabashed advocate to have the game in Indianapolis, not because of my history with Indianapolis, but because I think it's great for the conference. I think Lucas Oil Stadium is the best stadium in the country, certainly in the region. The bars, the restaurants, the connectivity is extraordinary. If you go to basketball games down there, you see what the college feel is like. And it's really, I think, going to be like the Super Bowl, except a college atmosphere, and year after year after year. So the Super Bowl is a big deal, and it's unique. I get that. But being able to have this game year after year after year, with the 67,000 people to be in the stadium, and what I believe will be thousands more, just there for the hoopla of it all, kind of like the race it's a big deal. It's a big deal for the conference, and it's a big deal, I think, for Central Indiana. So the sustained media exposure that will provide not only Indianapolis but the Big Ten. Again, I think people will see that play itself out more and more. Anybody that's been to the SEC games in Atlanta and what that's like, and what the ticket prices are like, and what the enthusiasm is like, and what the environment is outside the stadium. And Indianapolis has got it all over Atlanta in terms of the cool infrastructure surrounding the venue. So I think that's terrific, and I'm excited about that. Divisional play, we're excited to be part of the Leaders division. I think this is going to be great. I'm excited that Purdue is in there, and that Morgan and I were able to convince the conference to have the bucket game at the end of the year. I'm glad they're in our division, because that'll be another opportunity to beat them, hopefully on an annual basis. The division races, I think, will be a lot of fun. I like the other teams that are in our division. I think divisional play will be a big deal. I'm one of the few people that actually likes the leaders, legends, monikers, so we'll see how that plays itself out. But regardless of what they're called, I think the divisional play will be a lot of fun. So that's sort of my opening salvo, and I'd be happy to answer any questions or hear any comments you guys might have.
Fred,
Ticket sales are great. We'll have more information on that later, but we are substantially ahead of last year and looking for, I think, probably a record in terms of season ticket sales, at least in recent memory.